really helpful to know like your background, so that based upon that we can focus on the training also. So before we start on the training, let me introduce myself. So my name is Raju Kumar, and I have more than 13 years of experience in software development industry. Last 9 years I have been working on Oracle technology, mostly on Oracle SOA, BPL, ADF, Fusion Apps, PL SQL, and Oracle Security. I also have experience on Java J related technology like EJB, JSP, Servlet, Spring, Struts, Hibernate, etc. I have
Okay.
done my masters from IIT Madras and have been associated with a few of the world's topmost MNCs afterwards. So this session, generally we have this session as a very interactive session. Anytime you can stop me and ask any questions, even if you feel the question is trivial, you can ask any type of questions. I will try my best to answer you then and there itself. In case if I'm not able to answer that time, I will answer you in the next session.
Yeah,
So
sure.
this, so this training is basically to help you to at least make you expert in handling at least medium complexity of SOA suite applications. And regarding programming language, is not a kind of prereq for it, but if you have a programming language, then it's well and good, and you will understand it better. So
Sure.
today I will be giving you the overview of Oracle SOA and what are the building blocks of it, and then we'll go as per the course content. Like in the later sessions, we'll go with that SOA setup. What are the things required to SOA setup, and once we install the SOA, what are the things which get installed on our system? What are the topology, directory structure, and then how to access your enterprise manager and admin server console. Maybe few of the things you might have also
Yeah,
worked in.
I already do that. Yeah, I go to the
Yeah, because
enterprise manager
uh,
console and
uh,
I do all
uh,
that.
all the things
Yeah,
you have,
yeah,
but
I do the debugs regularly. Only the
okay,
debug part I'll do.
okay,
Actual
so
code, I can open the code and I can look into code.
okay,
I can download from console and look into the code.
okay.
But all the components, I don't have details. I really won't find time to look
Okay, so here means my actually I will be more focusing on the SOA point of view. So which is important from this training part. So I will be telling you from the SOA perspective how to means view your SOA composites, debug your SOA composites, view the logs. From the SOA perspective, I will be telling you because
into.
since you will be doing lots of SOA things, so you need to know like
Yeah,
then from your work point of view, I need to add few additional things so that it will help you later in your work stuff.
yeah, sure.
And few things I will remove it because I those things which you already know. I don't need to tell you because there are many
Yeah.
types of participants comes. Those participants also come who have never seen admin server console enterprise manager, and I need
No,
to
no,
tell you.
I regularly, if you want to share my screen, I regularly do this.
Okay, okay. No, that's well and good.
Uh,
So based upon that, that's how your feedback will help me. So which things I need to
uh,
go in detail and which things I can just pass it by telling that, okay, this is the thing, it will do that. So it will help me to pace my training based upon the your requirements.
yeah,
Okay, so let's start with the overview of the SOA suite, and then we'll go as per the course content like setup and installation, then the topology of SOA, and then we'll see that what are the uh, different components in the SOA suite, and approach of our training will be we'll be going through the first we'll be going through the concepts about the SOA components, and then we'll do hands-on on those SOA components, like the different SOA components. So each SOA component we will take and know how we can use it, what are the features of the SOA component, when to use it, and then we will do hands-on on those SOA components, and then we'll pick another SOA component, and this way we'll go and complete it. In between, if you have any questions related to the examples or anything, you can always ask those queries, and you will get daily recordings. Rajesh will share it to you, and between I'll be also sending few documents for the configuration related or setup related. Okay, so let's start now.
Okay. Okay. And just before we go ahead, I'm actually looking for both SCA and OSB, both Rajakumar.
Yeah.
So I know you are going to focus on SCA only initially, but later I'll be paying for OSB training as well.
Okay. Can you please repeat? I didn't get it.
I'll be. I was saying that I would need both SCA and OSB trainings.
Okay. Okay.
I know you will be focusing on SCA initially.
Okay, yeah. I'll be focusing more. So there are two part of it. SOA suite, or so that is having a different interface to develop it, and there is a OSB. So OSB is different than this. You can check up with Rajesh. OSB, we
Yeah, I
have one
know.
from. Yeah, so you can touch base with Rajesh on that. So maybe someone can cover it for you for OSB also. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start. SOA means the word SOA, service-oriented architecture, in general is an architectural style for developing and integrating heterogeneous systems. So as the word heterogeneous, it means that you have different software systems which can be on different technologies like .NET or Java, maybe using different operating system like Windows and Linux. And with this, SOA can help you to integrate all these different systems. Like Oracle is acquiring PeopleSoft or Siebel and different. So they are getting also the set of applications, and Oracle has its own EBS application. Then they have own Oracle Fusion application, and now if the customer might be using Oracle Fusion application, might be some products of EBS or some SAP or some Salesforce. So all these things can be integrated if they want to kind of integrated business application. The SOA main use of SOA is to integrate different applications, and integration is done via two different ways in the SOA. One is by using this web services. So all these actually there are three ways to integrate. So one is like you consume the exposed web services in SOA and integrate those applications. The second is like they are adapters. We'll discuss about the adapters. The adapters available for different software systems. There are software systems which cannot be exposed as a web services, like your database, file system, FTP, JMS. So all this cannot be exposed as a web services, and or is a very difficult to expose them as a web services, or other third-party applications like SAP or Salesforce. So for them, there are specific adapters. Using adapters, we can integrate to those applications. Then their third way of integration is the event using business event. So by publishing business event and subscribing business event, we can integrate different components. So we will be discussing. Yeah.
This event is specific to Oracle business suite, right?
Yes. Oracle business event will be specific to within the Oracle context only. We will be integrating different way. So either you can integrate using your ADF application. The same is applicable for the EBs also. You need to call your business event related APIs that will trigger your event, and those components which will be subscribing those business events will get activated. So we will discuss. We have a lesson on and examples on business event also, and mostly for external world, if there are certain things, then it will be using adapters or using web services.
Yep.
So Oracle SOA suite is a part of Oracle Fusion middleware family. We know like for Fusion middleware family has lots of products, and this SOA suite is one of the product. Like other products are Web Center, JDeveloper, and you have ADF, all the WebLogic server. All these are part of Oracle Fusion middleware family. So this is one of the example of SOA usage diagram. So SOA, any SOA application itself we can expose as a service, so that external world can call this SOA application as a service. So same SOA application we can call it as a service. SOA application we can call it using event. Also, you can call SOA application using events. So in this diagram, we can see on the left side, on the top, we have that presentation layer. Basically, those are the clients to the SOA layer. So either it may be web application, mobile, internal business application, or any other application which might be calling this SOA application either using the service call or using the event based call. And then SOA will be calling will be integrated with different other systems, either via service or via using this adapter, using like it's connected to the database or the file system or any third party application using adapter, or again via event based. So there are the three ways to connect to the different system: via services, via adapter, and via event based. So this is in high level view where you call this SOA layer, and then SOA will be connecting with the different systems.
Yeah, right, okay. My basic question is the overall. I agree that the SOA suite itself is the core of everything, but without covering OSB, how does it justify the whole thing? Web services are key part of any real time corporate application.
OSB cater different requirement, and this cater different requirement. If you need only connecting services only if you need to connect one service.
Yeah, our specific environment, or maybe within our customer environment, basically both are orchestrated very well. The SCA components and OSB, they tightly integrate with each other. Basically, what happens is you have Oracle e-business suite, and you create a data source, and you expose it as a XML to the external application via the OSB features, and the external application consumes that XML. From Oracle data source end, you use a business event, and from connecting to other application here, we use web service.
Okay.
So that's how they are built all together. Even if even in the reverse way also, if Siebel sends me parts availability request, it is via web service, and when I post it to Oracle, it could be again via a procedure package call or something, API call or something like that. So somehow they use this kind of architecture. So I was wondering why OSB is not covered within this overall curriculum.
Okay, so means okay, that's maybe that's basically the integration part where you have means the data coming from the different system, and OSB is connecting to different system. So the same thing can be done, means you can integrate those things via this SOA suite.
Yeah, database adapter. You are saying connect to Siebel via database adapter instead of web service, right?
You can use this Oracle SOA suite also to connect it, but there are certain advantages and disadvantages between both OSB and this thing. So SOA suite is more to handle your complex business logic. It has many multiple components, and like business rule, human workflow, and which basically, if you want to handle business logic and everything together within a SOA application, then SOA suite is more suited, and OSB is more suited from the integration point of view, where you just want to more focusing on getting the data from one system and sending to another system via web services, integration, and those things. You will understand once I will cover topic by topic. You might be having doubts here how to differentiate like OSB and this SOA suite, but once we cover topic by topic, you will understand like when to use when that SOA suite will be beneficial.
Okay.
We have SOA applications where we have used business rule, human workflow, and where we'll be routing the tasks, and where you have this complex business logic implemented in the BEPL, and where we are getting we are using the programming codes like if else and assignment and those things, everything inside the
Yeah,
BEPL.
yeah,
So
BPM related, I know some background, but I was interested.
yeah, it will get clear once we'll use it. For OSB related features, we have a component called mediator. I'm not sure have you used mediator or not. So it has the OSB like features, but mediator will discuss in detail. Its scope is within the SOA composite. So the things will get clear once we go topic by topic, and
Okay.
yeah, once you are also done with the OSB training, then you will be you will be clearly saying when to use this Oracle SOA suite and when to use OSB. And other advantage is that many of the Oracle SOA suite components are integrated with the OSB. So as a part of SOA suite, you will be understanding those components, so you will get a better idea how to use those components with the OSB.
Okay.
Okay, so another questions I generally get also related to this. There was one question, so I put this up this slide. Why can't we use web services instead of why to use SOA? Means the web services are also like support interoperability, and it will integrate your means different components, different systems together. So one of the main reason, like if you use web services, you as you told, there are different modules, there are different system exposed as the services. So you integrate all those components together. Like assume all these components have been connected to each other via web services. Point integration is, it means the tight coupling. So today we have two components connected together via web services. Tomorrow we are scaling up our application, expanding our application, and added few more components, and we are connecting to each other. So in case of web services and all this point to point integration, the scale up will be difficult, because as and we go on adding the component, so this will create a kind of network of connections where it will be difficult to identify which component is connected to what. Scale up will be difficult, maintenance will be difficult. Any new developer, it comes for him, it will be difficult to know which component is connected to what. And if you tomorrow, if you want to replace some component with some other web service, then again you need to find out all the dependencies, and you do lots of work to replace a component if everything is web services connected. But if in case if we go with the SOA layer, what happens that SOA becomes the middle point, interface between two components. So component one, like client is sending the request to the SOA and is directly not going to the component two. So SOA is intercepting that request, and then it will decide which component to call, and then SOA will call the component. So SOA becomes the middle layer. So all the client requests are coming to the SOA, and SOA is connecting to the all the service. Then SOA is taking the response back from the service and then sending it to the client. So it's a loosely based approach where SOA handles everything, and it's easy to scale up and it's easy to maintain. And tomorrow, if you want to replace any component, then also we can do it easily. That's the main advantage of SOA. Apart from that, SOA will give you lots of components which is required to achieve different type of task. It will give you different components, and the SOA framework will handle you many of the things like routing of messages, validating, security. So many stuffs will be handled by the SOA layer. Any questions on this?
Yeah, I understand this because we have pool of components within our application as well. We often share one component across maybe 5 to 10 interfaces. One component like a parts available will be shared across Cebu, some hand devices, mobile applications, maybe some kind of carrier applications like FedEx or X carrier or OTM. So, or maybe the field engineer applications like Service Cloud or
Okay.
Service Max.
Okay. Fine.
Same component will be shared across various interfaces. That's what I believe you are telling via this
Yeah.
slide.
Yeah. Correct.
We have pool of components which will be shared across interfaces, integrations.
Okay. So we all know the benefits of the SOA, because now means it's not recently we are using the SOA. Main benefits is like it will decouple from your client to the service, and it provides you the loosely coupled. You can go with your existing system. You don't need to write your systems from scratch. You can just expose it as a service, or you can use an adapter to use your existing systems. So you can coexist with different set of systems. At the same time, you can have a single ERP solution, but you can have different systems in your single ERP solution. So that's the main advantage of SOA. So it can integrate your different systems which is not required to be using the same OS or the same language.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so I'm not sure whether you have worked on the Fusion applications or not. Did you get chance to work on the Fusion applications?
Fusion, I have done some work on OAF part, JDeveloper I'm little familiar with. OAF I have done some work on that, and I got training also on OAF.
Okay,
JDeveloper,
okay.
and
So Fusion,
WebLogic I'm little bit familiar with because various
okay.
projects I come across WebLogic.
Okay, so as you told, Oracle started with the forms, and then after forms, it
Yeah,
had one framework called JTT
yeah.
framework. That's more based on JSP related means thick UI kind of framework. Then it came up with the OAF framework. After OAF is mostly used in your EBs, and then
Correct.
after that it came up with the Fusion application. And Fusion
Correct.
application don't use OAF; it uses ADF
Yeah,
framework. ADF
yeah.
framework. In Fusion also, then after Fusion, it came up with the Fuge application, which is a
Fusion Cloud.
improvement on,
Fusion
not
Cloud.
Fusion Cloud is there, but Fusion, there are different flavors. So Fusion is the first flavor. After Fusion, there is a improvement on Fusion. There is a called Fuge UI. So it came of Fuge, then it came of Fuge
Okay.
UI, Fuge plus. Then now latest they are building up mobile first applications, which are basically to cater the same application can run on the mobile also, on tab also, on this desktop also, and they are responsive applications. So the latest which Oracle is working on are mobile first application, which you might not be aware of. So that is the latest which Oracle is working on. And how SOA is involved in the Fusion is like all these things like CRM, SCM, or financials, or yeah, different domains are there. So these domains consume each other modules. So what they have done, they have exposed them as a services, and they consume those services in the SOA applications, and there the SOA is used. And if they need any workflow kind of thing where they can route the task, it can go to some user and some user can approve it. So that is also possible via SOA using your human task component and business rule component. So customers mainly which have uptaken the Fusion application. Most of the Fusion applications have SOA integrated, and they can runtime. They can change the business rule. They can change the task configuration, and that will help them to in the SOA workflow. So we will see those things in the later chapters, how we can achieve workflow using the SOA human task, and how we can create business rule using SOA. But all these things are customizable. Customers can anytime can log in into the UI and customize those rules, business rule, or human task configuration. So this slide is basically telling about that Fusion has integrated SOA at each and every product level, and there are a lot
You are
of
saying, so what you are saying is within Oracle's suite of products, the Fusion products, SOA is inherently
core,
used,
yeah, inherently.
like OTM and Oracle use the suite. You have a lot of this SOA stuff going on in between.
Has
For
this for all
e-business suite,
the yeah
e-business suite
for,
and Oracle Transport Management.
for all the Oracle specific integration they use SOA. Even they used to have previously adapter for EV's application, but now the recommended approach is to use the SOA instead of adapter to integrate to the any of the modules.
Okay.
The future is basically in, if you are working on the Oracle side, then the future is the SOA.
Correct.
Now coming to the building blocks of the SOA. So there are two types of building one. These are the basic building blocks. We will also talk about the Oracle SOA open standards, which Oracle uses to create Oracle SOA suite. But the main building blocks are basically the same building blocks which are used by the web services, and we have XML. So once we create SOA application, everything, all the source files will be in XML. We don't need to write any XML file. Framework will generate those XML things, but most of the coding will be doing in the design mode. So what I want to tell you that, so this will be using the latest 12c version. So this Oracle SOA suite is 12c version. Once we install it, we'll get everything, like we'll get Oracle SOA suite, we'll get JDeveloper 12c, and we'll get WebLogic server, and everything will come with a single installation.
Okay, we guys are using we guys are running the upgrade project, but our guys still use 11.1.1.6 for 12c. I don't know why they are using this version.
Okay, so means yeah.
JDeveloper they are using 11.1.1.6.0.
There's not much difference. Yeah, there's a little bit of difference. Few things has moved from here to. I will tell you like what are the things available in the
Okay.
developers. Like previously, these things were not in the Windows; they were in the different menu. But right now, if you want to see your application servers or applications, or if you want to see means a component or any log files, any particular window, if you want to see, then and it's not visual in the JDeveloper, then you can click on select this. It will take you to. It will add you that.
Okay.
Other things are same only, like file you create new application, create any type of application or ADF application, Java application. We have an option to create a SOA application. You can create a SOA application directly from the JDeveloper. And similarly, within one single application, you can create multiple SOA projects. So, if you once you have that application, this is the application navigator, and within that there are different projects. You can within an application you can create project, and you have an option called SOA project. There are different options also for service bus. I will not be covering, but you have that option to create service bus project also. So SOA project, you can create it. Once you have this SOA project, and so suppose I open, it will have a folder structure. It will have a folder structure. Like this is kind of folder structure. It will have different kinds of files: BPL file, event file, schema file, and we'll see it in detail. And just I want to tell you that the source is in XML. Source is in XML.
Yeah.
And everything will be doing in the design mode. We will be dragging and dropping the component palette. So we'll be getting one component palette from there. We'll be dragging and dropping, and everything will get generated in the source file. Same thing applicable for schema also. like
But
whatever the schema. Yeah.
you do have to edit XMLs, right? And
Yeah, means for a maybe for a
yeah,
new user, for a new developer, he may not be touching the XML. But once you get experience and know which XML tag is for what purpose, so you can directly change that XML also. Only thing you need to keep in mind, like sometimes if you do the change in the design mode, it changes not only one file, it do a change in 2-3 files.
yeah.
Okay, so that framework will take care of doing the change in the multiple file. If you are manually doing in the XML, you are doing the change in the single file. So there are certain changes which are applicable to the single file. You can go and do it. But if there are changes which you need to take care of in multiple files, then you should be knowing that these changes you need to do in which files, and if you do the changes in the XML file also, it will work fine as long as you are covering all the references.
Right.
But the best thing is you do in the design mode, framework will take care of it.
Yeah,
Same thing is
for example, like the application endpoint URLs and all, you will change it.
yeah, you can change it in the XML. And the same thing is applicable for the XSD schema files. We design the schema file in the design mode. You drag and drop, and the schema language XSD will get generated in the source. The same thing this talks about means XML. It uses XML, and then schema it will use. Schema is used to all the data purpose. So any kind of your input and output data, like request and response, basically we associate with the schema. Like any input coming to your SOA component, like BEPL or mediator, we will have that associated with the schema. Reason why we associate with the schema, because once we associate that schema will validate the things. We will tell, okay, this is my input. For example, my SOA application creates a customer record. So my input will be the customer name, maybe the first name, middle name, last name, address, mobile number, and any other details. So we will define our input. This is my input. These are the fields. This is of this type. These are mandatory. This is optional. So those things will be defined in the schema. And once the request comes, request will get validated against the schema. And if it's as per the schema, then the request will move on. If it's not as per the schema, then request will stop there. So validation of data can be done using the schema. The same thing, like what response that SOA components need to return, that response structure we'll mention in the schema file. Okay, the response will be returning one field or two fields or a set of object or a list of object that we can define in the schema. And
Yeah,
XML
right.
is okay. And then the web services, as we know, like it will be integrating with a different web services, and which is a kind of function or service available on the web, which you can invoke it externally, and that has its own standards, mostly WSDL, which basically stores all the web service related information, like what is your web service location, what is your input and output of the web services. Those all the details are related into the WSDL. And for invoking a web service from the SOA developer point of view, we no need to know like how to create web service and publish web services. From the SOA is basically used mostly to integrate different web services. So here web services are already deployed on servers, and what we need is your WSDL URL. So there are two kinds of URL. Either you have the abstract WSDL URL, or you have the concrete WSDL URL. Concrete WSDL URL means you have the complete host and port defined, where
Yeah,
exactly that.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay, so those things while testing, as a testing, we can use with the concrete WSDL URL, but normally on the client side or the production side, all those WSDL URLs will be the abstract WSDL URL, maybe MDS based WSDL URLs, and those host and port will be derived from some configuration file. So there is a SOA configuration file which
Yes.
mentions your
Yes,
host
we
and port.
have for every component we have a config plan and we have a
Yes,
build.
correct. So
Um,
while you deploy your SOA using that config plan, it will replace your
yes.
means host and port, that abstract host and port
This
with the
is
concrete host and port.
one of the major issues we are getting in 12C. When we deploy this code from SVN to from the version control
Okay.
to stage instance or something from one environment to other, we are getting this issue where that WSDL is not reading the config plan and it is whatever URL you have in the WSDL, it is getting hit on the component. It is going to that URL.
That
Because of that
huh,
OTD layer or something, I guess.
if your host and port does not get changed to the required host and port, then your WSDL will not get loaded. Your WSDL
Yeah,
will not get loaded, then your service will not get invoked,
yeah,
and then
that's
your
what. Yeah,
SOA
component is not getting initiated.
instance will get faulted out.
Yeah, that's what a lot of issues we are seeing is this issue because of that OTD URLs are incorrect or I don't know what is going
We also face this issue, and basically means for us, like we are the SOA developer and we have the operations ops guy. They run those commands to change
on.
host and port. We just give them the steps how to do it, and they will run those commands in the pods and environment, central environments, and once it gets changed, then it works fine. Yeah, but we also face this issue.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, so yeah, so those are the basic building blocks, XSD and XML and the web services. And then we have a set of Oracle open standards, which are based.
What about XQuery and these things? We do use a lot of XQuery and
Yes, in the expression we will
XPath, XPath and XQuery. We do use a lot of.
we will be using those in the means examples I'll be showing you. But as
Okay.
such, I mean, while creating the examples, I will show you how to use and select the parameters. So if you want to create some condition using some XPath, so Oracle has a very good UI where you can create your expressions and select a particular field value, a parameter value, and based upon that you can create dynamic conditions. So we'll be covering those things as a part of example.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now coming this SOA standards. Uh, okay. So these are the main SOA standards, and I will just go through it. And mm, the most important open standard is the SCA. As you know that why we use open standard, because if you are using the open standards, then it's not the proprietary, and any company, any vendor who all uses this
Yes.
open standards, those
Right.
components can integrate with each other. So SCA is one of the important open standard. It provides a specification to assemble the various services to form a composite application. In SOA, when we create an application, we call it a composite application. In SOA 10G, all the components were different components. Like we have WEPL component, mediator. Mediator was called previously ESB, and we have this business rule and human workflow, human task. So all these components were separate component. It used to be coded separately and deployed as a separate component. Not everything was deployed as a single deployment. All others were deployed separately and coded separately till 10G. In SOA 11G, they enhance the SOA suite and they come up with the term composite application, so that you create a single application. You do all the configuration of different you bring all the components together in a single application, and all these components like Beppel, if you use Beppel mediator in a single application, everything you can deploy as a single application instead of deploying separately. That's how it's called composite application. And this SCA has been used internally to assemble these different composite applications. So all these components are SCA compliant. When I say SCA compliant, means all these components can seamlessly integrate with each other. Not only the SOA components can integrate with each other, SOA components can integrate with the web services, and SOA components can integrate with adapters. All these are seamless integration that frameworks takes care of it. So SCA is based upon the idea that all the functions in an enterprise should exist in form of services that can be combined into a composite to address the business requirement. So SCA enables a business logic into a reusable service component that can easily integrate with any other SCA compliant application.
Okay.
Then we have another thing called service data object, SDO, and SDO basically focus on accessing data from a different data sources. So normally we have different data sources, whether it's a SQL data source, no SQL data source, XML maybe, or the data is coming from a EJB or some other ADF. So there may be different data sources. So what SDO does, it creates a wrapper on these data sources and it provides a set of uniform APIs to a kind of CRUD APIs, uniform APIs to access those data irrespective of what is the data source format. It's an XML format or relational database or NoSQL database. It will provide you a set of uniform API. So SOA is using SDO. So SOA is using that uniform set of API, and the data source you can change, but the APIs you don't need to change because SDO will take care of it. So internally, SOA uses SDO. We will not be using developer. No need to focus on SDO. But since we are using a framework focus on these technology, SDO related or SCA related technology.
Yeah.
So Oracle SOA wants to integrate with ADF application. To integrate with ADF application, you need to expose ADF business component as a SDO enabled service. Once we expose an SDO enabled service, then we can integrate ADF business component to the SOA. And we have one session on that also, how to integrate ADF, how to create an ADF application which is used in Fusion application, and how to integrate ADF application to the SOA application.
Right.
Okay, and then we have BEPL. BEPL is an industry standard for business process orchestration and execution. So BEPL is one of the SOA component. We have XSLT. XSLT is used for transforming your XML document from one schema to another schema. So your web service is providing you data in one form, and you need to change that format and you need to pass to the different service. So we will use XSLT, and then other open standards are JCA, which is a Java connector architecture, and all our adapters are JCA compliant, which use these adapters to connect to different systems. Then we have JMS, so all our events are JMS compliant. So JMS is another solution for messaging solution where you have it in asynchronous, it support this asynchronous messaging. Then then all those which we already talked, XML, Visual, SOAP, and all those XML related technology.
Yeah, that's fine. JMS and JCA, I don't have much idea.
JMS is also like Oracle SOA support. There are many applications which, if you want to integrate with the JMS, like some applications which are basically publishing messages, and your SOA application wants to consume those messages, then SOA supports it.
Okay.
Using the JMS adapter. We need to configure the JMS adapter, then SOA will start consuming those messages.
Like I didn't get that.
Okay, so I will give you an example. Like SOA wants to integrate with a database, so there are database adapters. We configure database adapter. We tell okay, what is the connection. Similarly, there are JMS adapters where we need to do some configuration, and then it can connect to JMS.
Just do you have any high level idea about JMS application? What kind of?
I have I have one document on JMS. I will not be creating JMS application, but we we have one document where is how SOA can be integrated with the JMS is mentioned.
Okay.
With an example where we have an example to consume the JMS messages.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so this is one SCA architecture, and here you can see that we have a composite. This is a SOA composite. Basically, it's a SOA application which may have one or more SOA components. So this example, we can see we have BEPL component, business rule component. So BEPL is a entry point for SOA application, and here this BEPL has been exposed as a service. So this client on the left side is calling this binding.ws. Nothing is a notation for a web service integration. So this client is invoking this BEPL as a service, which has been exposed as a service, and BEPL is again integrated with this business rule component. At the same time, BEPL is also connected to some external services. So BEPL is invoking some external binding.ws on the right, and this binding.rmi is another protocol. It means that it's connected to some other application via some different way. Maybe it's connected to some ADF application or EJB application with a different protocol. So main thing is that these are the components of the SOA. What are the components? Main concept is the composite. Composite is a SOA application. Within the composite, we have SOA components, which are also called service component, because all these components we can expose as a service. So within the composite, we can have one or more service component, and these service components are integrated to each other by connecting them as wires. So we have wire to connect service component to the service, or service component to the other web service or adapters. Then we have service component, we have composite, and then we have the services itself. So these are the different building blocks of a SOA application, which we use to assemble a SOA, create a SOA application. So these are the different service component: BEPL process, business rule, human task. Each component is for achieving some specific purpose, and once we go through this component, we will know which component to use when. We have some new components also, like till 11G we have BEPL, business rule, human task, and mediator. Sub process is a new component in 12C. And I'll also, while I will going through, I'll also tell you the difference between the older version and the new version, what has come and what has been duplicated and what has gone out.
Okay.
So this is one JDev view, JDeveloper view, where you can see that client is invoking a order management BEPL process. Order management BEPL process is invoking some decision service business rule. Maybe there is a business rule to check whether if the order value is more than 50,000, then go for approval. If it's less than 50,000, then no approval is required. So if it's more than 50,000, then it's calling a human task. That approve order is a human task. It means it's going to the some manager or sales manager, and once that approval is done, then it's calling some other services like credit card validation, customer service, credit card validation service, and it can also call some other BEPL process like to select manufacturer, and then it can call courier related services to finally ship the product. So this is one example of a SOA application where you can see the use of different SOA components, like client calling, BEPL process interacting with the different SOA components and different services. And the components here are services, your SOA service component, then wiring between those, and your external web services, and if required, if any database call is made, then or any external application call can be made using adapters also.
Okay.
Okay, so any questions here?
I'm wondering how the BEPL integrator is integrating the OSB components, the web services. What role Bipal plays with the web services, with the OSB, with the OSB components?
People integration with OSB.
Yeah. What role does Bipal play with the OSB components?
It's like OSB wants to integrate with the Beppel, they can integrate with the Beppel so that see it will be like requirement if you have a complex requirement where you need to use the Beppel to do some logic. Maybe programming logic can be coded in the Beppel, like your for loop, while loop, if logic, and all those complex logic can be done in the Beppel. You cannot do in the OSB. And if you have a requirement where we need those kind of logic, and you need human workflow based upon this human task, or you need complex business rule which can be customized by the customer at runtime, then OSP might be calling this Beppel, and then Beppel will be having their own calls.
Okay.
It will be like that. OSB calling Beppel instead of Beppel calling OSB.
Okay.
Okay, and I will provide you some documents on the OSB and Beppel. I will go through it, and I will let you know, like mostly I will be focusing on the SOA development, like SOA composite development. But from the integration OSB to Beppel or OSB to SOA suite components, if you need some information, I will provide you. But the things will get clear from OSB to SOA suite integration if you go with that OSB training.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Here I will be telling you all the things which you need to know from the SOA suite development point of view.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so that's all for today. We'll tomorrow we'll see about this topology, Oracle SOA Suite topology. So what are the things gets installed, and how to install, and what are the components will get installed, and that we'll cover tomorrow. Then we'll go with each component by component, how to use and what are the concepts, and hands-on on each component.
Okay. So tomorrow we are going to install tomorrow. That's what you said.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll see the steps how to do it. I have that. It's very simple, and I have that document, and we'll share you the document, and you can go through it. If you face any issue, then you should not face any issue. It's quite clear. I have taken a screenshot, and it should be.
JDeveloper and all I installed myself.
No, you no need to do separate installation, like separately installing JDeveloper, separately installing WebLogic. There is a different installation step for the SOA.
Okay.
Okay, so I will go through those steps.
Yeah, if you allow me to share the screen once, I wanted to show you something.
Okay, can we do? I have one more meeting. Can we do tomorrow if required? Means I will show you the step, and if
No, I just need 1 minute. No, I'm not installing anything.
Okay, 1 minute.
If you have 1 minute, I can.
Yeah, sure. So one minute. Let me give you the access then. Yeah, I have made you the presentation.
Okay. You're able to see, no?
Yes, I am able to see.
Yeah, this is a typical interface code components we have. We have all these layers generally.
This is your SOA composite.
Yeah, this is a typical composite we have. And it is this how it looks like in general. Our components, more or less, 90% of them look like this. You have PE component, provider enabler, and you have a CE component, consumer
Okay.
client. Consumer, and these are the typical Siebel to SOA, and within SOA you have these two components, CE and PE, and then the PE talks to the database API or something. These are the typical. Maybe I can share you more details tomorrow.
Okay, sure. Okay. Okay, then we'll meet same time tomorrow. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Bye.